When I was 9, I played a lot of games. Road Rash, Delta Force, Recoil, Speedy Egbert, and I often thought about how video games are a metaphor for the real-life games adults play. We have choices, multiple routes, different gears, various instructions to follow. Choose wisely, work hard, we are told, and you'll win the ultimate loot. But as an adult, I realized that the IRL wealth game is deeply flawed. And I wanted to show you, not just through statistics, graphs and data, but through real people, actual lived experiences. So we spoke to 4 people whose lives you are going to see today. 4 characters from different lives, different income levels, 4 starkly different lifestyles and versions of India, all coexisting in the same pin code. We lived their life with them for a day to show you what it's really like. For the next 15 minutes, you will feel the daily panic, the relief, the constant trade-offs and the overwhelming struggles that come with each level of this wealth game. You'll never see your income the same way again. Welcome to the game of wealth. We have 140 crore Indians who are contenders, but 3.5 crores are eliminated before the game even starts. Yup, around 3% of Indians survive on less than $2.15 or 180 rupees a day. Are you ready to play? Now let's begin with our very first player, Arun. You are going to live Arun's reality now. You're a 30-year-old man from Meghalaya. You've only studied till class 12 and don't possess any hard skills and represent a majority of Indian workers who migrate to the cities for work. You have a wife and 2 kids to take care of. You live for your family. But this also puts you at a big disadvantage in this game because you have a total of 4 people to take care of now. And you lack 2 important abilities to level up. No hard skills and no experience. But you still got to do something to survive, right? You need to take care of these 2 kids and farming in Meghalaya isn't getting you enough. You're barely surviving, so you ask someone you know for help. Your friend suggests he has a friend in Bangalore who can get you a job. So desperate to make ends meet for your children, you leave everything you've ever known, travel 3,000 kilometers all the way to Bangalore. This big city is your chance to make more money and level up. Within the first 2 weeks, you manage to land a job as a security guard at a company and you're pretty elated about it. It pays you 533 rupees a day, 16,000 a month, 1.92 lakh a year. Nearly double of what you were making back home and also a little above the minimum wage for unskilled workers in Bangalore, which is around 15,000. Now, how do you survive? What's your day-to-day like? You work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your colleague falls sick sometimes, it can go up to 24 hours or 36 hours shifts non-stop. Wait, what about your sleep and your health? You say, do I have a choice? Also, you prefer sitting at the company office because at least there's light here, there's AC here. Your home, let's say you're home. So you couldn't afford an apartment, so you got a PG which is few kilometers away. The rent though is abysmally high. It's 5,500 rupees per month, nearly 35% of your income. But you're happy because at least they give you 3 meals. What are the meals, by the way? Mostly just rice. Now let's look at your other spends. What about the remaining 11,500? Where does that go? Well, 9,000 needs to be sent back home every month for the kids and wife survival. So you're left with just 1,500 rupees per month. You keep 500 to 600 rupees for emergency and remaining you spend on samosas. You really like samosas, so you buy them every now and then. Your basic needs are covered, but life is more than just survival, right? What about savings? What about entertainment? You know, at this level, these are luxuries. But wait, you do spend 350 rupees on the internet every month. Facebook is your favorite app and you watch comedy videos on it when you're bored. Wait, what about healthcare though? What if you fall sick? You have no plan or no answer. One health calamity can wipe you out. Any surprise cost could be catastrophic. If and when this emergency arises, you might have to borrow from employer or friends, joining the 62% of Indians trapped in cycles of debt. You know the scary truth? Arun represents the majority of India. In fact, he represents 90% of Indians who earn less than 25,000 rupees per month. Arun, do you have any goals, any aspirations? Do you want a house? Well, you hope it's all going to get better, and in 3 years, you can go back home and start a clothing business. You have no idea how you'll pull this off, but it's just a dream you have. This is going to be your big shot of leveling up. But with 16,000 a month and less than 500 rupees in savings, access to almost no resources, will you be able to make it? At this point, I'm a little too invested. I want you to make it. I want you to have a shot at this opportunity, shot at a better life. But how? Can you pick up some skills? I discussed some ideas with you, but you're tired. You're tired from these 24-hour shifts, and at the end of the day, all you want to do is just to go back to your PG, get one good night's sleep, and maybe eat a samosa. This is what the reality of many people that you might see around you feels like. You know, this makes me think. We hear so many lectures about wealth not being a zero-sum game, how to create wealth. But at this level, there is no such thing as wealth. You are just playing in pure survival mode, just getting by. This is the reality of level 1, and most will stay stuck here and never make it to the next level. Welcome to level 2. The stakes are very different here. The game changes. Your aspirations, your needs, your struggles take a different shape. You're now Neeraj, a content manager in a fintech startup in Bangalore, and you are now making an annual salary of 8 lakh per annum, which is monthly enhanced salary of 66,000 rupees. You know, if you know English and you can communicate and you know how to use a computer, this is the level that all of you watching this video can make it to. This level is a little tricky though, because you now fall in the tax zone, and 10% of everything you make needs to go to the tax man. But this is not a big problem, and in fact, unlike Arun, your daily job now does not require you to work grueling 24 hours and deplete your health. In fact, you only need to work 5 days a week. There are a few days when you would have to pull an all-nighter for an important work project, but that's rare. Okay, now the most important part, your house. You can now afford a 1 BHK house to rent, but you have friends at your workplace and you decide that it's better to live with them. You find a good 3 BHK near your office which has a monthly rent of 48,000. That's about 16,000 per person. Remember, that was Arun's whole month salary for a family of 4. You get this house, but it has a deposit of 2 lakh. This makes the game a little complicated for you to play, but thankfully, you have savings from your previous job as your lifeline. So you use your savings to pay this one-time expense and move into this house. Your housing is sorted and your budget is now down to 50,000 rupees. You have to send 20,000 a month back home to your parents since they are now retired and you need to take care of them. So now you're left with only 30,000. Still plenty though. Let's forget your food. You have countless grocery shops nearby, but sometimes you want to save time and energy, so you also use these 10-minute delivery apps for getting your groceries. Your monthly grocery expenses are 5,000 rupees. You're able to afford meals beyond rice and dal, and you also have access to luxuries like a house help. You and your flatmates use this and get a house help for 12,000 per month, which will cost you around 4,000. Now, it's a little bit of a stretch, but you're fine with it because it gives you the luxury of another scarce resource, that is time. Time to upskill, time to figure out how you can move to the next level. Let's have a further deeper look into your daily expenses. For going and coming back from the office, you take an auto that costs you around 100 bucks daily, that puts your monthly transport expense at 2,600 rupees. Now, there are also some small but necessary expenses like phone bill, Wi-Fi, electricity and rent for this bed you sleep on. Combined, these expenses are also 2,600 rupees per month. Now, after all of these expenses, you're left with just a little over 15,000 rupees. This puts you in a tight spot because you still have to invest. You do want to go out with your friends, indulge in entertainment, and most importantly, you also need to fulfill your dreams of buying a house for your parents, a car, and also traveling across India. Oh, it doesn't end here. There's another hurdle. You also need to get married, for which you're definitely not prepared right now, but the pressure from parents has started and it's crumbling you. You're worried you need to start saving more. So you choose to prepare for the future and start a monthly SIP of 5,000 in mutual funds. For fitness, you just play football every week, binge watch shows and films on your favorite OTT platforms with the cheapest plan, and whenever you feel like treating yourself, you buy these game skins. You also really enjoy gaming. Now, these are all the small luxuries of life that you enjoy, and there's one more thing you've taken an interest in lately. You're part of the new age Indian men who loves to look after their skin and are willing to spend a little money on face washes, creams, moisturizers and toners. Now, you can't go super fancy, but you're still able to spend 1,000 rupees per month on this. You're part of India too, which is a category of Indians who are not really rich but have enough money to spend on stuff like entertainment, beauty and online apps. Now combining all of this, you're spending 9,849 rupees on investments, entertainment and taking care of yourself. That's about 14.9% of your income. This is actually quite a lot, and now you're left with a little over 5,000 rupees. Compared to Arun, you're still in a pretty good situation because you're actually saving a chunk of your money. You're earning 3.5 times of what he earns. You have a far higher chance than Arun to move ahead in the income pyramid, but you still live in constant anxiety because some of your peers are making 1 to 1.5 lakh a month. So you're constantly in this state trying to figure out, how do you get there? What happens if you get married? You can't afford to move into a 2 BHK in a tier 1 city, and just one bad risky investment can end all your dreams. This anxiety keeps you up all night, even though you're called the top 10% of Indians. But why does it constantly feel like you're just making by? Why does it not feel like you're making enough? You're exhausted, you're hoping your appraisal will solve some of it, and in a few years you really hope you make it to level 3 and are able to buy that car, that house for your parents. As of now, back to the grind and we move on to level 3. But before we continue, we would like to thank our partner for this video, Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one enterprise management app that helps you meet all your business needs, be it invoicing, website creation, inventory management, or creating an online store. You know, in the last few years, I've seen a lot of people starting online businesses, and a big problem all of them face is in creating an online store, maybe due to lack of budget or technical knowledge. If you're somebody who's facing the same challenge, then you need to check out Odoo's e-commerce builder. With this tool, you don't need to worry about having any technical skills. All you need to do is pick your objective and business type for your online store, choose the color palette or build one from your logo, add in the pages and features, and lastly, pick one of the 3 themes, and you can start with customizing your online store by simply dragging and dropping blocks. To add in your products, just click on new and then product, then add in the description and price, and your product page is live. You can choose and add images of the product and description to add more flavor to your online store. But you know the best part? You don't have to pay anything to start because Odoo's first app is free for life with unlimited hosting and support and a free personalized domain name for the first year. So check out Odoo for all your business needs. Now back to the video. Welcome to level 3. Till now you were just surviving, but now you're Abhishek, an AI engineer at a tech company, and the level of this game now gets really easy. Well, now you're making 24 lakhs per annum, which is a monthly salary of 2 lakh. You're literally earning more in a month what Arun earned in a year. This is crazy, and for context, it puts you in the top 3% of earners in India. Your mindset, your life, your goals, aspirations, the way you perceive wealth and money have absolutely changed. You've now risen up the Maslow's hierarchy to solve for problems like self-respect and recognition. You are now part of the club that Goldman Sachs dubs the affluent class. This is a club of Indians who take 45% of the flights in India, earn 22% of India's income, are responsible for the bulk of the transactions on the consumer apps, and pay taxes. And imaginably, the game is going to become a lot more fun for you to play. So let's start with the basics. For housing, you have this fancy looking home with your 2 friends in North Bangalore. The rent is 1.68 lakhs for this, which translates to about a monthly rent of 56,000 for you. But you're okay with it. It's about 28% of your income, but percentage-wise, it's still lesser than Arun's 35% share, which was going for his PG. For groceries and foods, you're ditching the normal shops. You're now going to buy stuff from this fancy store because you want to put extra focus on your health. You pick the more organic stuff, add protein bars, supplements to your diet, which increases your grocery bills, but health is wealth for you. Your grocery, by the way, costs you around 10,000 rupees a month. Now this is interesting because your grocery spend is just 5% of your income compared to Neeraj, who spends almost 8% of his income on groceries. In fact, a lower middle class Indian who earns 33,000 rupees spends about 26% of his or her income on groceries. Now you also hire a cook who costs around 15,000 bucks, which you will be splitting with your friends and comes out as a monthly cost of 5,000 for you. So far, you're down to 1,29,000. Your office is nearby, so you don't have to spend a bomb on transportation. In fact, your monthly travel expenses are exactly similar to Neeraj's. This is a steal because you can get a car or a bike loan, buy a nice vehicle, and even after including fuel charges, you'd still be saving enough cash. Let's look into your spends further. You take a yearly membership at this really cool looking gym. It costs you 15,000 per year, which is about 1,250 rupees per month. And whenever you get time off from work, you hang out and chill at these cafes, which cost you around 6,000 rupees per month. You also travel a lot. In fact, almost every 3 months, you take trips outside the city, which costs you around 30,000. But again, it's not a fixed monthly cost as you have work and not every month you have the time to go outside the city. You also have a lot of responsibilities at work since you're at a higher position. But anyways, you're also smart, you're well read, you consume a lot of finance content on Twitter and on YouTube. So you put 30,000 as part of your investments every month to beef up your bank and save taxes. It allows you to plan your future moves and stay prepared for any twist life has to offer. Now, even after all of these monthly expenses, you're still able to afford to pamper yourself with these high-end gadgets, get subscriptions to your favorite OTT platforms, and shop for clothes at your favorite brands. And after minusing all of this, you're still able to easily save 10x more than what Neeraj saves in a month. Now, even in the worst case, which is if the economy crashes very badly and you lose your job and don't get to land another one in the next 6 months, you are still safe. This puts you in a position that half of Indians would die to be in. It's a privilege unlike any other. More importantly, it gives you the power to access something which millions of people go broke trying to afford. I'm talking about mental health services. Only 7% of Indians can pay for therapy sessions out of their pocket. Not being able to afford mental health services have serious implications for health. So being at this level almost makes you play this game in God mode. But it's still not up there. What is up there is this final level. The game these level 4 folks are playing is so out of reach for the people from the rest of the levels. It literally blew my mind. This is India's elites. Welcome to the final level, level 4. You are now Suraj, a 40-year-old real estate entrepreneur in Bangalore. At 10 crores a year, you're making more in 24 hours what Arun makes in an entire year. But forget about your title, your income. At this level, your occupation is almost irrelevant. The real game you are playing, it's called legacy. Your monthly cash flow, about 83 lakh rupees, but your net worth is north of hundreds of crores. Some months or some days, you take out even more than these 83 lakhs depending on where you're investing. Wait, you can literally take out more cash in a day than most of the other levels can make in their whole lifetime. At this level, your wealth is measured in assets, not income. And talking about assets, you just don't own homes, you own societies. As I'm talking to you, you are now confused whether your next project should be a mall or an exclusive restaurant in Bangalore, since you have really exquisite taste in food and you feel Bangalore lacks good places. You have multiple financial advisors and your wealth is distributed between stocks, mutual funds, real estate, private equity, and you keep little cash aside for high-risk investments. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about your lifestyle. You live in a 10,000 square feet villa in Bangalore's most exclusive gated community. Price tag, about 27 crores. Your garage, it's literally like a mini luxury showroom. You've got Mercedes, Audi, and you make these purchases for fun, not to actually drive them. What about your monthly expenses? You spend 2 lakhs on housing maintenance, 1.5 lakhs on car maintenance and fuel, 7 to 8 lakhs on food and dining, 3 lakhs on personal stuff, 2 lakhs on health and wellness, 5 lakhs on clothing and accessories since you only purchase from Louis Vuitton of the world. And travel, it's always business or first class. Every international trip you take is a minimum of 15 to 20 lakh, but you're fine with it. You like living life king size. But wait, 7 to 8 lakhs on food and dining, how much can a person possibly eat? Well, you like paying for the table every time you go out with your peers, so every outing is around 1 to 2 lakhs and you go out 3 to 4 times a month. Got it. Also another question, 2 lakhs on health and wellness, where is that going? Well, you have a nutritionist, personal trainers, personal doctors, yoga instructor, and you spend on the most exclusive treatments to make sure you live a long, healthy life. You do red light therapy, cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, all of this almost every month. Wait, is all this even available in Bangalore? Apparently yes, check this out. You also have a personal therapist who helps you with all your emotional burden, who's available at your disposal. Wait, but what's the emotional burden you're dealing with here? Turns out, quite a lot. Since you have access of everything, the more wealth you have, the more you worry about losing it. You're worried about trusting people. The only folks you can rely on is your family, your brothers, but even that gets tricky. You have a large team of financial advisors, lawyers and accountants whose sole job is to protect and grow all of this wealth. You're also playing the political game, by the way. You're part of industry bodies that lobby for policy changes. At this level, you don't just live in the system, you shape it. This is where wealth translates to power. What about taxes though? Thanks to clever accounting and ways around India's tax structure, your effective tax rate is not insanely high. But how? Well, you know all the cheat codes. You have a trust, ways around it. Some of your companies are registered in different countries. You do a lot of charity and philanthropy for people. So that's your excuse to not pay high taxes. I am really curious now. How many more people are there like Suraj? So it turns out the number of people with more than $30 million, that's 250 crores to their name, is forecasted to grow by almost 50% in India. India, in fact, ranks third globally when it comes to the highest number of billionaires. This class and this level of Indians is exploding and the numbers show it. Mercedes-Benz and Lamborghini posted record-breaking sales in India last year. DLF sold an upmarket residential project with home units priced starting 7 crores in under 72 hours. That's all it took. 72 hours for 1,137 units to sell. That is wild. All of this is driven by the top 30% who own more than 90% of the total wealth in India. Among them, the top 10% own more than 80% of the concentrated wealth. These four stark realities which coexist with each other in the same city shows you how they are just playing different levels of the game. At every single level, they're all playing entirely different games with different rules, different restrictions, running in parallel, often invisible to each other. And I spend a lot of time thinking about social mobility. I talk about opportunity, how to grab them, tailwinds. But this experiment has left me with a stark realization. Usually I'm very optimistic. I feel like it's necessary because if you don't have hope about a better future, how do you even build it? But this time, unfortunately, I realized that we want the world to be fair, so we pretend that it is. We want Arun to have a good life. We want Neeraj to be able to get his dream home and car. We want good people to get what they deserve. And we often assume that every action should have a morally fair consequence. But the reality is so complex and so far from it. It's actually a cognitive bias called just world fallacy. In reality, a lot of Aruns will never make it past their levels. And most Surajes and their children and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren will only keep getting richer. We can go on and on about privilege and social reforms, policy, representation, wealth cap, but this is the on-ground reality of a lot of people in our country.